Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding is provided by a grant from Absolute Care of Westfield, committed to returning the favor to those who spent a lifetime caring for others. Absolute Care is located at 26 Cass Street in Westfield. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. Senior Report with Reed Powers thanks Westfield's Schultz Chevy for a generous grant to inform seniors of important news. Over 50 years of service to Westfield by Chevrolet, Schultz Chevy across from the school. The physicians of Jamestown Primary Care are happy to sponsor the Senior Report. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. What a beautiful day we have here in Chautauqua County. The sun is beaming down somewhere, but right now we're getting a nice little rain, and it's keeping the grapes all moist and wet. We're going to have as good a crop as we would get under the circumstances, remembering that our grape crop was kind of frozen out at the beginning of the year. We had an early frost or late frost or something, and it just mopped up a lot of grapes. Because what it does is kill the buds, and they'll regrow buds, but the new buds will only be half the size, so you only get half the grapes. You don't get a bunch like this, you get a little bunch like that. And so your crop is cut back quite a bit. But at any rate, things are booming along and everything's good. We're going to have a good program today. We're going to be talking to a well-known self-development coach. Her name is Dr. Brenda Hayes, and she's well-known in the area and lives in Fredonia. Has an office there, and if you want to develop yourself a little bit and you need somebody to get you moving, it's like when you go to the weights and when you go down to the weight room in the gym, you have somebody helping you out there, getting you moving and saying, hey, come on, push that, you're good for another couple of more. And it goes on. You get a lot of extra, you get encouragement too, and you have a friend who's sort of sticking with you as you develop. We'll hear more about that during the program. Worldwide, the news is just as dire and miserable as ever. The wars are going on in Afghanistan, even though they're shooting our own troops over there, that our friends and our police over there that we trained are turning around and blowing us away. It's an incredible country. And they said don't go in there in the beginning, whatever you do, because they beat the Russians into bankruptcy. They beat the Brits out, and they almost went bankrupt. Way back to Constantine's time, they've been unable to civilize these Stone Age people who live up in the mountains. And sure enough, George Bush goes charging in anyway, and here we are, the longest war we've ever had in this country, and they're beating us. We're not winning anything. Our generals keep saying, oh, we're winning, we're winning. They say, how are we winning? Well, they're not sure, but we're winning apparently. At this point, I think we're going to do exactly what we did in Iraq and turn tail and run. Just like Vietnam. I still remember pictures. I was part of the scene in Vietnam. And I remember the pictures on TV of the helicopters frantically trying to take Americans and friends off the top of the embassy and get them out to sea. It was horrible. That was our grand retreat from Vietnam, and it's going to be the same in Afghanistan one way or another. We'll just declare the war won like we did in Iraq and walk away. All right, here we go. On television, of course, most of the news is political, especially with the two conventions finally over. And both conventioneers and all the speakers telling everybody how great they are and how wonderful they're going to treat our country, and they're going to save us from everything. In the meantime, the other team, the opposite party, is the absolute ruination of the country, and we'll never recover. So it goes on and on, the same old story. At any rate, we have a lot of good news here. I got some stuff. We have the most terrific senior clubs in villages, towns, churches, everywhere, and everybody supports them, the fire departments, the VFW, the American Legions. It's just a terrific team we have here, and seniors have a second home. Those that belong to the club have a whole support system there. It's just terrific. If you know a senior who hasn't joined a club, grab him by the arm, drag him down there, introduce him to some of the people there. He'll probably already know some of them. And before you know it, he'll be a new member, and he'll be a wonderful asset, and he will receive tremendous benefit himself. Brockton Portland Seniors has a very active small group, but they're active as could be. Robin Carr is their president. They meet in the American Legion over there every week or every 2 weeks, and they have a just nice turnout. They always have a luncheon. Like most senior groups, they have a luncheon together. They bring their dish to pass, and usually the club provides the main course, or somebody coughs it up, and you bring your dish to pass, your own silver sometimes, and you take it back home, and it's no hassle to anybody, and everybody has a great time, and it's a nice luncheon, and then they have their meeting, which is usually very short because they've got to have a lot of time for bingo. There's always bingo. I wanted to mention they're having a senior bus trip on Wednesday, September 19th from the Brockton Legion. They still have room. It leaves at 8:45 a.m. and it'll take to Made in America store, Burncroft Resort in Veryburg, and a complete lunch buffet, musical entertainment of Anastasia, a family band, and ending at Premium Coffee Company in Lackawanna, where they will drink coffee. It's a great trip. All the senior trips are terrific. They're very cheap, fun. They go in large air-conditioned buses with a clean bathroom. It's just a great place to go. They're having a next meeting. You want to get over there to Brockton Seniors. Remember, they meet at the VFW there, or the American Legion, excuse me. Same wonderful groups, I tell you. And you can get them to September 24th, Monday is the next meeting, and it's at noon, as most seniors do meet at noon. They're going to have a catered luncheon of pizza and wings. Can't beat that. Okay. The Great Belt Seniors, they have some great trips going here. One is to the Niagara Casino, where they go down and they look at tour the Indian Museum. They go directly to the casino and start to play. They always give you a free lunch and usually 25 free chips to play with. And my strong advice is don't gamble. Go and play your chips and play them fast and quick. And if you lose them, walk away. If you win, walk away. Otherwise, you will be coming back down on that bus without your shirt. It's very embarrassing. All right. The Great Belts are going there. They're going to do a day trip in Ohio, September 11th, and a 3-day trip to the Mohawk River Valley, October 16th to 18th. And remember, most seniors can sign up for these. It doesn't matter if you're part of their club. You know a lot of the people. All the seniors know each other in Chautauqua County because there aren't very many, relatively speaking, people in Chautauqua County. Fortunately, we're now in with a small agricultural section again, instead of being in with Buffalo, where we didn't even count. They didn't see Chautauqua County. We're going to have a new congressman. Brian Higgins is going his merry way, sticking with his old congressional district. We've been taken out and put elsewhere, and we've got a new guy named Reed. Yeah, just like me, Tom Reed, last name. Okay, they're going to the Cooperstown. They're going to the Cooperstown National Baseball Hall of Fame coming up too. And a lot of these trips, you're interested in the trips, just go check with them. The Great Belt Seniors, I'll give you a number, 672-5778, and you just say, I'd like to go on the trip. Say, sure, fine. The trips are very inexpensive, and they almost always have room for a couple more people on the bus. These buses are pretty big. They have exercises classes now through Rayville Seniors Wednesdays and Fridays from 9 till 10 a.m. And get in there and get going. They have all kinds of exercise. So you can just sit in a chair and do some very strong, wonderful muscle building, binding exercises, or you can get out and you can run like I used to. I used to run 5 miles a day. Then I jogged 5 miles, and then I jogged 2 miles, and then I walked 2 miles, and now I walk 1 mile. But anything is better than nothing, guys. Get out and do something. Over at the Great Builders, and you can get the flu shots taken to your group, and they'll be offering flu and pneumonia vaccines on Friday, October 5th from 9:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m., and that's quite a lot of time. They will take place at 321 East Main Street. And you can go into any CVS and other drugstores, just say, I want my shot. They give it to you, pop, nothing to it. And it may save your butt, because seniors who get flu are very, very susceptible to other things, and they die, some of them. It's unheard of to die of flu, but a lot of seniors do. And if you're ready to go, don't bother with your flu shot. Like I tell them, if I have a massive heart attack, do not resuscitate me, please. I only want to die once. Let me go. The Lord is calling me. I want to say, Carolyn Leguisi does the bingo over there, incidentally. Rush Trump helps. Silver Creek Crowd. They have a lovely little place of their own, over there. It's on the corner of Route 20 and Route 5, and they own the shop, which is unusual for seniors. Irene Connie has been there forever. She's been president. Now she's a chaplain, and she does a nice reading before they enjoy their pizza party or whatever they're having. Usually they have pizza. They love pizza over there. Who doesn't love pizza? That's one of the reasons I take Carnival sometimes on a cruise. They have an all-night pizza restaurant, and you go in and after you've had a little time at the bar, you go in and you order whatever kind of pizza you want. They put whatever you want on it, and you can have a whole pizza, 2 pizzas, half a pizza, slice of pizza. Love it. They're having cake and ice cream August 28th. I think that's past, gentlemen. for the recognition of the July and August birthdays. Sometimes they get a non sequitur into the news. Silver Creek seniors met regularly. Ed Newman is the king over there. He does the job. He's the president, and they recite the pledge, and they sing the national anthem or whatever, like everybody else. And they always play bingo at the end of the game. And I got nothing here. I just want to say happy birthday over there to give me a number of people here. Lucy Roloff and Seal Prestel, mother and daughter, and bingo was called by Marv Smith. Next meeting is September 4th. What? This one's dated, isn't it? Okay, I got a guy here who's been chomping at the bit. He's ready to come on, and this guy shoots from the hip. Shoots from the hip. He doesn't mince words, and he is our commentator, and his name is Doc, D-O-C. His name is John Hamels. You're on, John.
Well, good morning, Reed. I thought we might have a PSA, but Jeff, you hang on to that.
Yeah, we have the PSA after you now.
Oh, that's how. Oh, I didn't get the memo.
No, you just didn't remember.
That could very well be. You go to Texas and they switch it all up. Well, good morning, Brenda. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Reed.
Good morning.
Well, first of all, I have a few things I want to share. You never know what's going to happen on this show, folks. I want to send out a birthday wish to my wife, Barb. Today's her birthday. What was that? Was that for me or you? I can't tell. And Reed, our fan base continues to grow. I'm amazed. I was in Meter's restaurant last night, and a young fellow I know from Ripley, he said, I watch you every week. So here's a shout out to my buddy Dylan Tillieu. He's one of our regulars out there. So he's your cousin? Cousin Dylan. Okay, well, anyways, Dylan, good morning, and thanks for watching. Let's see, what does that say? Okay. Coming up, the thing I want to promote tonight. So if you're watching, this is Saturday the 8th. Tonight in Jamestown, a great opportunity to support the arts and music for young people. This is a fundraiser that Bill and I are going to be participating in. It's called the Local Music Showcase for the Infinity Group. And there are, I believe, 7 or 8 different venues that you can go to. You pay one money, you buy a bracelet, $10, and you can just hopscotch all over all over Jamestown, and there's all kinds of groups. And as you can see, if you keep on going down, there it is, the pub. Bill and I will be playing at 9 o'clock, and we'll be doing our Irish and American folk music. So anyways, that's from, I think, 6 to midnight, I believe it is, throughout the evening. What a great night. $10, you can hear some really great local talent. Okay. Reed, I was just kind of reflecting today. I don't want to talk about politics today. I thought we'd save that for when we get into the heat of the season. I know you already did. But, hey, I hear Nate Shinagawa's coming. Is that true?
He is coming in October,
Right.
the 13th, I believe.
Do you know how we got him? I Facebooked him.
Yeah.
And I sent him a little message, so I'm really looking forward to
Well,
that.
Laurie
So-
Cornell stomped all over his people, too.
Uh-huh.
Said, how come you haven't gotten back? You know, we just had we had Tom Reed on.
Yeah,
and
yeah, have equal time here.
And he suggested that we should change, that Shinagawa should change his name to Smith or something like that. That's a joke, Tom.
All right. All right. Well, anyways, today I just was going to make a small commentary. You know, the last couple of days I've been outdoors, walking around and enjoying the good weather, and you know, it strikes me over and over again, and I think you've mentioned this over the years, Reed, here on the show, how beautiful Chautauqua County is, and we really kind of take it for granted. A lot of times we're sitting in front of the tube, or we're messing with our cell phones or whatever, and we really don't get outdoors and enjoy the beauty of Chautauqua County. You know, I'm wearing purple, and I see Brenda has purple. Maybe it's for the same reason. I have no idea. But
First of all, it's the color of choice of paranoids.
for what?
People who are paranoid.
Paranoid purple.
Yep.
Well, I thought I'd wear for the Concord grape farmers. They have an early season this year, but wouldn't you know it, you always can tell when they're harvesting it's raining. But anyways, I wish them a safe harvest, and you know, again, we always think, oh, farmers, whatever. But, you know, they are the financial backbone of our county here. They are supplying millions of dollars of value to us through agriculture. So have a great harvest. And, boy, you can, Jeff and I were both saying how you can smell the Concords from our homes. And
I just they're ripe. Some of the
Right.
Concords. Some are green. But most of them are absolutely purple.
I had a bumper crop this year. I have 6 vines that I filled my baseball cap up with.
Well, let me tell you, it used to be the first crop, the most valuable crop in terms of income to the county, but it's been taken over by another crop, marijuana.
Uh-oh. Well, we won't go there right now. That's
Yeah.
another show, another time.
It brings in more money than any other.
Well,
crop.
anyways, going along with the idea of this county is I was walking the old Max, my dog, down at the lake yesterday, right here in Barcelona. And, you know, there standing in the water was a blue heron.
I saw that.
Did you? That's right.
He was down by the beach.
Exactly.
You must have been there the same time I was.
I didn't see you. Where were you?
Well, I pulled over and drove up and started watching him.
Yeah.
Because he was just beautiful.
He was standing right there, and he took off a couple times. He makes a really crazy sound. But anyways, I mean, where can you go and see like a 3.5-foot bird?
Actually, it's the biggest bird in the northern United States. It has a 7.5-foot wingspan
There
on
you have
average.
it, folks. You heard it first here on the Reed Power Show.
Yeah.
Okay. There was all kinds of waterfowl out there. It was just a gorgeous day. And then on the way over here, I saw a whole flock of turkey. You know, we've got the migration starting now from the north, and we're going to be seeing birds that you only see like maybe 1 or 2 days a year. They'll be coming through, and the fall colors are already starting. You know, this is just a beautiful area if you just take a little time to look at it. So I love living in Chautauqua County. I was thinking, I've been here almost 40 years, and I just love being here. And so enjoy Chautauqua County, everybody. Enjoy the day and smell the grapes. Back to you, Reed.
Thank you, John. Yeah, when you go by a grape vineyard this time of year, it's just that a wonderful fragrant aroma just flows over you. I always open my windows so I can smell it. And you're right about the beauty here. The French, when they came through, almost to a man, wrote about the beauty of Chautauqua County. And they described it as a virtual Garden of Eden up here. Absolutely. Just beautiful. We are very lucky. We just don't know. Good morning, Brenda. Brenda's been sitting here. She thinks we're just going to go on, and she knows I'm going to do a public service announcement first, and then she will be on. But I wanted to let you know you're on in a second, okay?
Okay.
Here you go. Here's your public service announcement you asked for.
If you could see anything in the world, what would it be?
I'd love to see Paris.
I like to see cupcakes falling from the sky.
My daughter, married and happy.
I want to see things the way I used to.
Chances are, someone you love may one day be affected by macular degeneration or glaucoma. Log on to seeabettertomorrow.org or call 1-800-437-2423 to learn about glaucoma and macular degeneration. Call 1-800-437-2423 or log on to seeabettertomorrow.org.
I just want to see more of the things I love.
Off every oculist in the county. If you don't have vision insurance, and most of us don't, I don't have it, seniors don't have it under Medicare. Medicare seems to have not provided three things that all seniors need, and that is glasses, hearing aids, and teeth, dental work. And the reason they do that is I hope you'll see nothing, you'll hear nothing, and you'll keep your mouth shut. It doesn't work because seniors are very vocal. And they see a lot and hear a lot, even though they have a little trouble hearing sometimes, as I do. However, if you have need for glasses and you haven't got the money, you haven't got any glasses insurance, here's what you do. And listen carefully. You go to Times Square or you go down to Walmart stores, whatever Walmart it is, they have an Oculus section. For $51, they give you a very thorough medical and visual examination. You ask them to write it out for you, and making sure they take the measurement, pupillary measurement too, and you take that home with you. They're a little disappointed you don't buy some of their $200 frames, but you just take it home. You go on the web, and there are several different eyeglasses companies. One is Zuni, Zunni. I use that. On Zuni, they will give you two plastic hard glasses, lenses, which are set into the frame of your choice, and they have a lot of knockoffs. They have a beautiful set of frames. You can pick anything you want, not the big black ugly ones they give you when they say you get your free frames, or unless you want to buy another one. This is a beautiful bunch of frames you choose from. They will, including shipping and handling, the two lenses which are set in the frames and the nice frames with spring clips on them, I might add, $12. There you go. I usually order two with the time, so I just have a spare pair. And you don't even have to go back to the Oculus. Every few years you're up at 25, which is the smallest distance change you can have. But that's another story. And I still can see very well. As a matter of fact, I can see like an eagle now, because I had cataract surgery, and if you ever have that, they take a new lens and stick it in. It just takes a minute, and boy, what a difference. Oh, Brenda, you're on finally. Good morning.
Good morning.
I had to get that in.
That's all right. I've learned a lot already.
Oh, yeah?
I should be taking notes, I think.
Well, you probably have glasses insurance or something.
No, I
Don't you?
don't. So
Well, I don't.
I'm going to be running right down there to Walmart to get my eye checkup.
And make sure you get the full prescription. They'll write it out for you. You go online to Zuni, or any of them, but I use Zuni, and it's written up the same way, and just fill it in, send it in, pick your glasses, pick your lens, your frames, and away you go. And it's, as I say, I order two at a time. I don't even fool around.
That's a great tip. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, seniors, everything you can do to save, because at this point our Social Security's been cut back, about 50%. The money, because of inflation and the fake COLA, these phony federal figures, they give us their core inflation, which they adjust all the time to make sure it doesn't show any inflation. and they're giving you 0 to maybe 1%. Sometimes they give you 3% for inflation when it's 5%, but they take 2 back for your Medicare and so forth. So seniors have fallen from, they got $1 10 years ago, they're getting 47 cents worth of purchasing power now.
Wow.
So most seniors are going to be eating this stuff very shortly. This is cat food, and during the Great Depression, they ate it because it was fairly nutritious, and they found they could eat it. You can't eat dog food; it has bone in it, and you can't digest it. But cat food's perfectly good, and I'm going to write a recipe book. You know, if you take this is the tuna, and you mix it with, drain it a little bit, and then mix it with mayo. It's pretty good, pretty darn good.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if most of our pets eat better than people do, because I think often we're not choosing the things that are nutritious and most appropriate for our health, but that's for another day.
Yeah, well, cats are careful of what they're very fussy eaters. I don't know if you have a cat. Let me ask you a little bit about your background. Now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Brockton.
Okay, Brockton.
I graduated from Brockton Central in 1967. And I went on to Denison University and spent about 7 years after that out in the Midwest, beginning to work in the mental health field in the prevention of delinquency and the prevention of more serious problems. And at 28, I went back to graduate school, got a master's degree and a PhD in human development, and began working in the field of developing programs that are educational and supportive to families. And I did that for 6 or 7 years and eventually went into my own private counseling practice. And I did that for 18 years in the Philadelphia area. I came back to this area 6 years ago in my late 50s to assist on our family farm primarily.
Where was that?
It's in Brockton on Route 5. And I do actually live there rather than in my office. I began becoming involved in the field of coaching when I actually was the recipient of a coaching certificate at a meeting. I won the door prize, and it was
That
about...
was a coaching certificate?
Yeah. Well, no, what I mean is it was a coaching session
I'm sure.
that the speaker was giving away. And I didn't really know much about coaching at the time. I didn't understand what the difference was between coaching and counseling, but I was in the midst of trying to plan how to move from a home I'd lived in for 25 years and a business I'd been in for 18 years, and how to relocate myself here and still be a productive professional and a member of a smaller community, which I was really looking forward to. And this lady gave me a coaching session over the phone, which I thought was, on the crazy side. I couldn't imagine discussing anything meaningful over the phone with someone that I didn't know. And she said, "What's your biggest stress?" And I said, "Well, in 3 years, I need to uproot myself and relocate and reorganize my career and my home." And in an hour, we developed a time frame for when I needed to do what. Now, I could help all kinds of people develop time frames like that, but it's much more difficult to do on your own when you're dealing with a lot of the anxiety associated with that kind of a life change. So I decided there must be something to this, and I began to explore it a little bit, went to some conferences and some training, and decided that perhaps I would explore coaching as an option when I moved back here.
Okay, I still don't gather the difference between coaching and counseling.
Okay.
Now, coaching, I could see you saying, repeat after me, rah, 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 let's go. That's moving them along with enthusiasm and pep. You can do it. Come on, kid, you can do it. That would be coaching to me. Counseling would be, I think that maybe you should read the book, The Inside Story, and again, come back to me and we'll discuss it. It has a lot to do with your anxieties. That might be coaching. I mean, that might be counseling.
Well, perhaps one of the biggest distinctions is that in
come on, next to me. Cuddle up to me. You're so beautiful. I want you close to me. Let's see if they can get us closer on the camera.
Over time, counseling became something that people were more willing to do in our society if they were faced with some kind of an issue in their family or whatever. But I think as it became more acceptable, there was also a movement to be able to make self-improvement without having to go to counseling, without having to have a mental health diagnosis. And so
In other words, you're
coaching,
not nuts, you're just, you just want to talk to somebody.
Well,
or
yes.
Somebody help you along.
coaching is more of a teamwork kind of perception. What I do is help people clarify what their goals are.
Now, people
And-
come to you because they're troubled, right?
They're troubled, but they're not severely troubled.
Okay.
If they're severely troubled, it's my responsibility to make sure they get to an appropriate
In other
mental
words,
health professional.
you don't do any of the heavy-duty stuff, huh?
No, no.
You're not a shrink.
No, I'm not a shrink.
All right.
But what we do is talk about what a person would like to see different in their life, what kinds of goals they'd like to establish, and what kinds of strategies they'd like to use to reach those goals. And that sounds easy, but it's not always easy, particularly on your own, to sort that out. So we explore what all the possible alternatives are for a person facing a particular situation, and what the pros and cons of those are, and then I help support that person as they move forward in their goals. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
It's, well, this is like, I have a friend yesterday, so she came to me with a problem. I said, I can't help you on this one. She said, I want to get rid of him. I don't know how to do that. You know, that's not my thing. What you got to do is find a guy named Chacha Linguini. He hangs out down in the Italian section, and he can guide you, we'll put it that way, as to how to get rid of your husband. But at any rate,
Well,
are you married now?
No.
Have you been married?
Yes.
You tried it once? Twice? You have children?
Yes, I have 2 children.
Where do they
My
go?
son is 29, and he works in the environmental science field, and he's
Wonderful. That's a
married
wonderful
and has my first granddaughter.
Great.
And my daughter is 35. She lives in Sydney, Australia.
Oh,
and
my
she's
goodness.
actually, she and her husband are actually headed back here right now.
Oh, they're
And
coming
gonna
back
spend
permanently?
2 weeks, no.
Oh,
They're
just to
going to
visit-
spend
visit?
2 weeks in Chautauqua County. And she said, make sure they don't pick all the grapes before I
Oh,
get
they
here.
won't. I can tell her where she can find grapes right up until December.
Right, exactly.
So you have a deep background here of your own,
Right.
from which to fetch.
Right. And one of the things that I've enjoyed the most, I wasn't sure how the concept of coaching would go over here. So what I did as a way to reach out to people was to offer different topics in a 2-hour seminar format at my office. And I've been doing that for about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. It'll be actually 5 years in November that I opened the office. And while many people come in and work individually on the challenges that they're facing, the opportunity to come to a group with other people to discuss something that's relevant to all of them has been both popular and very rewarding, I think, for the participants and for myself. For example, when we think about seniors, one of the popular titles that emerged based on what people asked for is a topic called Living Alone, Challenges and Opportunities. And when I offer that 2-hour topic, 8 to 10 people come in and we explore what they like about living alone, what the positives are, and what the big challenges are. And then we look at each of those challenges, give everybody some time, and the group begins to brainstorm on possible solutions.
Challenges
for-
means the downside, right?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Everybody's saying, well, this is going to be quite a challenge, meaning there's no way we're going to solve this one, you know.
No, and that's perhaps the difference between coaching and talking to your next door neighbor, is that a challenge is very much something that we can take steps to minimize.
You can
that
bite
we
into it anyway,
Yes,
huh?
exactly.
You work on it.
Part of my job is to help people clarify that so that they feel positive and hopeful.
You give them hope. It's
Yeah.
like, I guess, again, it's sort of like a personal trainer in the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
You work with them and make sure they're going through their, what's the term for the number of jerks you do, whatever it
Right.
is, you know?
But I think what's also important, Reed, is that it's not me who makes a choice about people's goals. It is they make their own decisions about what it is that's important.
Good. We
to
got a
them.
phone call. You want to take a
okay.
call?
Sure.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
As
Good
long as I can
morning.
say no.
Good morning. What's up?
Well, I have a thought, maybe a question, I guess. I'm I'm definitely a senior now.
Are you
and
really?
Yes.
Good.
Definitely. Well into it. But I've been living alone for a decade now or so, and I find I really like it. And due to circumstances within the family, I'm about ready to have an adult child join me in my home.
That's the trouble with having children. They always come back.
And I'm really having...
You think you're rid of them. They're back before you know it.
I'm really having mixed emotions about it because I have really enjoyed living by myself, and yet I'm at the stage where I'm probably going to need somebody, but I guess I don't feel like I'm quite ready yet. And how do I deal with this, with these emotions?
Well, that's a very common dilemma that you're facing, and several people have come in, and that theme comes up a lot in our Living Alone group. And what I encourage people to do is to think first about what they like about living alone and what it is that they want to be sure to maintain. What kinds of, we call it boundaries, they want to draw around how much they get involved in their young adult's life. Because that young adult does not want you supervising their life any more than you want them supervising yours.
Exactly.
And so we work at clarifying what your concerns are, what could happen without adequate discussion and communication. And for example, does this person expect you to fix dinner every night? You've probably...
She does. She's going to lose a lot of weight.
Well, no, there's a TV dinner. You just throw it in the microwave and flop it out. See, here you go.
This is one of the things I like about living by myself.
Right,
If I want to
exactly.
have dinner, I have dinner. If I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat dinner.
Exactly. And those are issues that need to be clarified with your adult child. That you don't want that responsibility, that each of you is independent in terms of meal preparation, and talk about the expectations. Another issue is somebody comes in, they're in your kitchen, they leave all their dishes there. I mean, it's a little bit like having adolescents back home again.
Exactly, and I'm just so leery about this because I dearly love my children, of course.
Absolutely. And
I don't want this to come between us.
Right.
And have resentment build up, and when the old lady dies, I don't want them to say, God, am I glad she's gone.
Yeah. Well, and that's the kind of thing that needs to be discussed. You need, whether you do it through coaching or whether you do it on your own with a friend with a paper and pencil, you need to clarify what your worries are, what your concerns are, and where you might be able to draw some lines so that each of you comes into this understanding what each person's expectation is for their own behavior and for the other person's
Brenda,
behavior.
you would say communication, very
Yeah.
important, that
Yeah.
you work this out together.
absolutely.
And discuss it. It's a turf war, really, and you've got to determine where your turf is and where theirs is.
And you're not going to have it all figured out day one. It's going to be important to talk about how it's going along the way. I think...
the most important thing is keep the communication lines open.
Yes, but that's difficult to do.
Now, if you would need, do you offer help if for some reason it's difficult to do and the communication line should not be working properly?
Absolutely. That's one of the things people come in for. But I always encourage people to think ahead. Don't wait until the problem is enormous.
Well, we've
because-
already discussed several things that,
Good.
that I feel are important, but she doesn't really say too much yet about what she thinks is important.
Well, and it may take her some time. I've never ceased to be amazed at how annoying a conversation can be between family members that might not feel the same way if you were having that conversation with a friend. Because we have to be cautious that we don't go back to the old roles of
Exactly.
you know,
I
mother
do
and
think it's
child.
much easier to talk to friends because, they're on an equal basis, so to speak.
Well, and you need to think about the two of you being on an equal
Yeah,
basis.
exactly.
She's an
That's
adult and you're an
difficult.
adult.
That's difficult.
Yep, it
So-
is.
So, well, caller, I
Well,
appreciate
it's good to
your
know there's
situation.
help available. So.
Yes.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll be checking in with Brenda. Give your phone number. Anybody's calling in. Wants to
My
check.
number is in Fredonia at 716-785-3555.
785 3555.
785-3555.
Yes, and if you drive down Route 20 through Fredonia, you'll see the building that my office is in on the right-hand side.
And a huge sign out
And a
there.
big sign, yeah.
And the sign will say
It will have my name and it will have the phone number on it, should you,
785.
3555.
And one of the nice things about Brenda is there's never any charge.
Right.
That's not correct?
And what will the sign say?
The sign has my name, Brenda J. Hayes, PhD, personal coach, and then underneath it, it has a phone number.
Okay.
And a little subtitle, Managing Change Across the Lifespan, because that really is what we're doing. There's only one thing that's guaranteed in life, and that's change.
And death. Death. You're going to die.
Right.
Taxes,
Okay.
of course.
Well, that's a change.
Okay, thank you very much. That
You're
was
welcome.
Very,
Best wishes to you.
I'm good luck. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, good luck, lady.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I think I had my children, all three came home at once. I'd encouraged them to, and they came and lived in my house. And when you have little kids, you go tell them something, they do it. When you have adults in their 30s or 20s, some of who are taller than you are, and you tell them to do something, you're lucky if you just get a few of the F words, you know. There's no real communication along those lines. Dishes all over hell, dirty clothes all over the place, messy rooms, smelly stuff, long distance calls to their friends and lovers for on and on and on, huge bills and lights on all over the place. It's so fun. I told my wife, I said, honey, by Christmas it's going to be probably mayhem or murder. I don't know which in this house. So she found a house over in Portland, which needed a lot of work, but it was still livable. And we quickly moved all of the kids over there.
Oh.
And it's a house near the fire department that had that big fire and was burned to the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Not too long ago, a few
Right.
years ago. And they just renovated it too. That's a heck of it. But at any rate, nice and peaceful. And I used to, they'd come over and visit, and they say, you know, Jimmy's supposed to mow the lawn. He's not doing his job mowing the lawn. And he hadn't paid his share of the phone bill. And
Right.
I said, you know, this is music to my ears. This is what I used to say.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes our children need a leg up as adults, but I think we have to be careful
Yeah.
that we don't do too much.
Right.
Provide a situation that's so comfortable that they don't make the steps forward that they need to make to function
Yeah,
as
you
independent.
definitely have to give them a little discomfort.
Yeah. I used to tell my children they had 6 months after college, and then they were on their own.
Okay,
So.
we got another couple calls. You want to take a call?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
You're welcome. Thank you for hearing me.
Well, I'd love to hear you.
I have a question for Brenda.
Sure.
Okay.
Is there a definite amount of time for grief to go away?
No.
Some people grieve all the time. Some people get rid of it early.
Well, I'm not sure grief is ever done. I think it's a long process. It's much longer than people like to hear. In many cases, it starts when someone is still living and they're very ill. There is no right or wrong. There's no right way to do it. There's no, in our society, people expect you to be better first after the funeral is done, which is ridiculous because you haven't even started to grieve in most cases when the funeral is finished. But also, there's this 1 year magical number that people throw around. Most people will describe the second year as being more difficult than the first year. And part of what's difficult is that people no longer want to hear you. They're no longer as inclined to listen, to check in with you, to walk with you closely and see that you're doing okay. So it becomes a lonely process, and it's one of the things that I think people get out of a group of other people meeting together. I'm working with a number of people who are going through an active grieving process right now, and they've had family member deaths over a year and over 5 years ago. If a person is immobilized 3 years down the road, they're not getting out, they're not eating, they're not sleeping well, even a year later, then that requires some kind of professional intervention. But in many cases, there's still a lot of sadness. There's still a lot of adjusting to being a person living on your own without someone that's been there for all of those years. Sometimes there's some relief in the very beginning if you've had someone that's been sick for a long time, and then the reality of what it's like to live on your own and without that person, without someone to have dinner conversation with or someone to go out in the evening with. You have to recreate life for yourself. You have to find new meaning, find new purpose, and it's a challenging process. And a lot of people come in and work it through with another person if they don't have friends and family members they can do that with.
Yeah, does that help a little bit?
It sure does, and I thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Well,
best wishes to you.
I hope your grief does go away, and I hope you're, well, you know, some, as you pointed out, in some cases, and you say, I'm glad the rotter's gone, you know, there's no problem. But when you lose a child or somebody very dear and special to you, I think it's a lifetime of grief. I mean,
it is.
There's a hole in your heart.
Yeah, there is.
Thanks,
Life
caller.
isn't the same, but it's also, you're also not immobilized forever. You don't feel, the pain is not as intense, you know, 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road as it was in the beginning, but it's still there, and there's still things that trigger it. And
yeah, and it can interfere with your life in some ways. We still have calls. You want to take another
Sure.
call? Okay, caller, you're on.
Good morning, Brenda. Good morning, Reed.
Well, good morning.
This is Linda Spalding.
Okay, Linda, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Brenda, your topic and your work is fascinating and very much needed. I wanted to compliment you on your beautiful scarf.
It's purple.
Thank you.
Well, I read something about when people have favorite colors or colors they wear. They say that people that like purple are dramatic and artistic.
And they're also paranoid.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't
According to the psychiatric color chart.
Well, thank you for the comment. I was traveling in Ireland. One of the things I've decided to do at this stage of life is to see a little bit of the world, because for much of my life I was going to graduate school, raising children, rehabbing an old house, and working way too many hours. So I've now been doing a little exploring this summer. I went with some friends to Ireland, and this is a genuine from Ireland scarf. So
It's beautiful.
It's
Actually,
beautiful.
all kidding aside, it is a lovely
absolutely
scarf.
beautiful.
And
Well, when I was in Ireland, and I know the Irish love Americans.
yes, they do.
Yeah, when you go to Ireland, you're treated royally, especially if you're an American.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs.
the French love the Irish too, and they have cheap flights going out of Paris every weekend because people go back and forth all the time.
Yes.
I saw Ireland myself, and it's beautiful.
Oh, it is a beautiful country.
Yeah, well, I went right across Ireland, 35,000 feet up on a plane.
Wow.
And
But
it's
you
green.
know, as John said earlier today, we have so much beauty here that we sometimes take for granted. Every time I go somewhere else, I see something that's beautiful, but I always come home and say, wow, it's also beautiful here. And we forget that sometimes.
We don't have the Barney
That's
Stone.
very true. And, you know, we were in Europe in the autumn a number of years ago, and to come back here, the autumn leaves here and our sugar maples are just so much more brilliant.
Right.
So we're fortunate
Yeah,
here.
but
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed or been told, there is a disease called the black tar fungus. It's attacking all our sugar maples, and if you see a lot of them, you'll see the leaves are all brown and falling off already, and they've been really crippled by this.
Wow. I wasn't aware of that,
Oh, yeah,
although I have
all over
noticed
the
some
place.
big black spots on some maple leaves, so maybe that's what it is.
That's what's happening. That one has been infected, and it doesn't hit the red maples or the silver maples, but it hits the sugar maples. I hear a dog. You want to-
Yes, they're competing right now.
Oh, they're trying to get on board. Well, you
Yeah.
know, if they have something to say, put them up to the mic. You know.
They're brothers. They're half brothers. You know how that goes.
Yeah, right. Sibling rivalry and all that.
They're boy dogs.
That's probably part of your business too. Is a sibling rivalry. That must cost a lot. It's got a lot of aggravation.
One of the challenges, now that you mentioned sibling rivalry, it just triggered my thoughts. One of the issues that has been very popular in the workshops and also when people come in individually, particularly for seniors, is relationships with our adult children. I'm surprised how many people come in and say, you know, my daughter told me not to call her anymore. She never comes to visit. She doesn't want to see me. In many cases, relationships have deteriorated over time, usually because of some misunderstandings or some misinterpretations that have been repeated over time. And, I'm happy to say that when people address those things directly, we're often able to come up with some ways to address that issue that help those relationships.
Some people go, Brenda, for years without talking to
Right.
a brother, sister, child, and my advice to them is to call the other person up and say, look, I'm very sorry. I'm really sorry for what I did. They probably won't even remember what it was. But
Well-
it starts a conversation, and then you go. You say, you've got to communicate.
Well, and I often suggest that people start out with something very simple and unthreatening, a note that says, just wanted you to know I'm thinking of you, something that does not rip off whatever the scab is.
Yeah, right, right.
And move slowly on from there, depending on, what it is that these people need to sort out.
Sure.
Life
That's
is
very
too
important
short.
advice.
Thank you.
No, that's Linda. She's got her television
Oh,
on.
I'm going to have to turn the phone down or something.
The phone or
I
something,
just
yeah.
wanted to say that there are services with the Chautauqua County Office for the Aging, and the number to call is 753-4471 in Mayville, in Fredonia, and Dunkirk toll-free 363-4471.
Thank you.
Do they do any counseling or professional coaching?
Well,
Personal coaching?
there is counseling, but it's a referral service too.
Okay,
Like if they need certain kinds of special counseling, they refer people on. But we have the elder abuse program. We have other programs, and of course, there's counseling for your medications and your health insurance. We have those sorts of things available. All kinds of wonderful services with the Chautauqua County
Well,
Office.
give her your
Well, thank
number
you.
again, so you can write that down. It's 785.
753-4471 and 363-4471.
Okay.
And of course, I have the Senior Employment Program, and I help people with job counseling and job preparation.
Do you have any jobs now?
We do have some jobs, and we got our grant again with Senior Service America, which is great. They got their grant from the Department of Labor, so we're all ready to go again. It's great news. And thank you to all our political representatives who wrote letters of support for Senior Service America.
Good. Well,
That's terrific.
that would certainly include Andy Goodell and our lovely state senator.
Yes, they
Kathy
have
Young.
been very supportive, but we had to go to the federal people because this is federal money.
They could send a letter to the Fed.
They did. We got great support.
Well, we had Tom on, Tom Reed.
Yes, Tom Reed helped, and Brian Higgins helped, and Chuck Schumer, and Kristen Gillibrand. We got wonderful letters of support, and this happened throughout the nation. And so we've got our grant again with Senior Service America.
Well, there are a lot of seniors out there, kiddo.
And there are a lot of services
and
out
they
there.
all vote. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of services that we often don't know about, so the Office of Aging is a very important place to gain information on
It
what's
is.
available. People aren't aware until they need it sometimes or after they need it.
Yeah, there you go. Do they recommend people come over to you? They should.
I definitely will do that.
Well, her number
me.
is 785-3555.
Thank you.
There you
Thank
go.
you, and I would like to contact you in
Thank
the next
you.
couple of weeks.
Oh.
Thank you
And
again.
I
Have a great week.
I suggest people get on my email list so that I can send the information on the workshops to them, because that's the way in which many people choose to begin to become familiar with me rather than coming in individually. You can do either one, but I do mail out information on when those workshops take place. We usually have them in the winter when people are looking for things to do, because we've found that spring and fall and summer are very busy times in
Yeah,
Chautauqua
but all
County.
your seniors are out skiing and ice skating in the winter. you know.
Well, I'm also going to some of the senior centers. I didn't mention that. The
do you?
Great Belt seniors have just arranged for me to come and speak to their group on, I think, the 22nd of October. So
That's great. So you are available for the senior groups. Senior groups, all of you folks out there who are involved, make a note of that. And again, the number 785-3555.
thank you.
Dr. Brenda Hayes. And Brenda, it's been nice having you on here, because I think maybe you've given some people a little bit of insight into their the heartache they feel. Some people feel a lot of heartache, I think, and that's one of the things you can relieve. You can give them a nitro. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting. Do you want to take another call?
Sure.
Okay, you're on, kiddo.
Good morning.
What's up?
If you know of someone who is in need financially and could use benefits but is of the old school where you never ask for help. Do you have any ideas on how to kindly encourage them and tell them that it's okay and it really helps to get be a part of the number system?
Give them some money. There
well,
you go.
I often have people who bring friends to the workshop topics, and the workshops are very reasonable as opposed to coming in individually.
People are all dying to know what's reasonable. Give a spread.
The workshop is a 2-hour session in the evening, and it's $20 for that session. And what I have had is friends who bring other family members, who bring their friends who are reticent when the topic is something that they're interested in. And I'm also receptive to different topics. I develop the topics based on what people feel that they need. So I think that going with someone can sometimes help them cross that barrier. If they need counseling and they don't have resources, I think you need to call the Office of Aging and find out what's available at no cost.
Well, I was speaking more of folks who could use the heat benefits and some of the coupons that you can get for the farmer's market and so forth, and they just don't want to ask for any help.
Right. What if you went with them?
I don't know yet. I'm just kind of want to have an idea of how to get their foot in the door without embarrassing them and to make them feel good about it.
Well, you're bringing up a very important topic, which is that for some people, it's very uncomfortable to ask for help. I think that just opening the door over and over again and saying, this is available for all of us. We've all paid taxes, we've all been contributing members of our society. This is something that is there for people in situations where
they're busted. Medicaid, does it help? Does it cover this?
No, it doesn't.
Medicaid
and
doesn't.
Even insurance doesn't.
Insurance will not cover personal counseling. You got to cough up yourself.
It'll cover part of counseling, but it won't cover coaching, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, but I don't know, $20 seems like a fairly manageable amount, too. We've been talking to Brenda, and did that answer your question, caller?
Thank you, and it was late in the program to be bringing that subject up, so thank you.
Well, it's an important subject, and I thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Being able to afford medical care in this country is a disaster scene, and we have to talk about it and address it.
Well, but I want to.
Okay, I'm going to give you. I just got this horrible sound.
We're off the air?
Well, here I go. Get out of here.
Okay.
I want to give you about 30 seconds, uninterrupted, to close off.
Oh, wow. I didn't prepare for this.
Time's up. Go ahead.
I just want to encourage you, if there's something that's bothering you, something that's running through your mind over and over again, at least reach out to a friend. At least go to some kind of educational setting where you can ask questions and gain information, because we all need to interact with human beings. Our network of connection is vital to our well-being, and finding people that will hear us and that will help us explore options is a very important part of living successfully.
A support group.
Yes, and most of those are free.
Thank you, Brenda. This is Dr. Brenda Hayes. We're going to have to move along. If you want to get in touch with her, give your number.
785-3555.
And you can ask any follow-up questions or make appointments if you wish. I want to thank all the, caller, the last caller, we'll get you next time. You coming back, will you?
Sure.
Okay, I'll probably need more help later. Chuck Kelsey did the job, built this place, started it, he's done everything. He's an executive president of this company, Channel 5, and we got Devin Taylor, Chris Bart, we have Randy Burt, Chris Ramaker, Jeff Zook, Don Zenz, John Hamels, and anybody out there who called in, who's with us, thank you very much. I want to wish you a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Get out there and in the sun, smell the roses, dance in the rain even, have some fun. Let your body know you're alive and well. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers.